This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on cabinet decisions. The participants are Shekhar Iyer, political analyst, and Neelab Srivastav, journalist.
The Union Cabinet today met under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. While this is a very usual phenomena, the Union Cabinet does meet every now and then. But something that was not very routine was that the Prime Minister was congratulated by his cabinet colleague for entering into the 20th year of public service by way of being the head of an elected government. If I can put the record in perspective, it was in October 7th, this day in 2001, when he was first appointed as the Chief Minister of Gujarat. After 3 successive wins in the western state of Gujarat, the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, was first appointed as the Prime Minister in 2014, and then the government came back in 2019. Iyer Saab, we were listening to the press briefing that was done by the INB Minister, Mr. Prakash Javadekar, and he did mention about the very important decisions that the cabinet has taken. Also informed us about a campaign that will be launched for the COVID-19 and the kind of procedures and precautions that we should be taking. He did mention that the cabinet congratulated the Prime Minister. His journey into public service, Iyer Saab.
Yes, indeed, it's a very important day. As on October 7, 2020, Shri Narendra Modi ji has entered his 20th year as a head of a government. And it speaks volumes about his ability to win the people's confidence. We saw 3 times he was elected Chief Minister after he took office in 2001. And since then, we have seen as a Prime Minister, he got the first mandate in 2014, and then in 2019, he got even greater mandate. Now, what is very significant is, as an elected leader, he has repeatedly got mandate from the people. And his connect with the people and his ability to deliver in terms of governance, which won support in Gujarat, has also happened at the national level. So therefore, today the cabinet decided that to place on record, particularly for his role in improving the standard of living of common people, and particularly for the novel schemes brought by the government under the leadership of the Prime Minister. And the very fact that the Prime Minister's ability to win the confidence of the people is largely because of his ability to constantly improve the performance of his government and always challenging his own ability to deliver on various things. This itself is unique because the Prime Minister has gone on record that for him, the challenge to him is himself. In the sense, he himself sets a bar of performance every time he has achieved something, so that the bar keeps on being raised by himself. And that is one reason we have seen that he has been able to create new record in governance and politics. And the other thing is, he has come out as a leader who is seen as efficient, effective, and is a reformist. And some of the reforms he has undertaken are very bold and are intent to ensure good governance is delivered to the Antodaya or the poorest of the poor. Whether it is tackling black money, whether it is tackling the bankruptcy by bringing in the new bankruptcy and insolvency code, or introduction of the GST, which itself was a very big challenge. In all these things, he has shown a kind of boldness and an uncompromising attitude towards fighting corruption, and in delivering goods and services to the people, has seen that he is a very unique Prime Minister who is always has the confidence of the people. And even now, when as the country is recovering from corona pandemic, people are feeling that if at all anybody can, stir the country out of this present situation, it can only be Prime Minister Modi ji.
Mr. Javadekar did mention about so many reforms and the decisions taken by the Prime Minister, not only as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, but also as the Prime Minister of the country. He did mention about the reforms in the governance field, various kind of acts, laws, even taking away so many obsolete laws, and talking about corruption-free government and ensuring a battle against black money. So all these kinds of measures Mr. Javadekar did talk about. And then the floor was also taken by the Union Petroleum Minister, Mr. Pradhan, and also the Railways Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal. We also know that the pandemic of COVID-19 has hit all across the globe. India is no stranger to it. We are also in the midst of raging kind of cases. Every day we are adding new cases. Keeping this thing in mind, the cabinet also decided to start and launch a renewed campaign against the COVID-19 spread as such and to increase the awareness among the masses. The ministers did talk about in the briefing what was discussed in the cabinet meeting. Mr. Iyer, please tell us about that.
Under the Prime Minister's initiative, we have seen already a campaign that we should continue to wear masks and continue to follow other health ministry guidelines like washing of our hands, maintaining that physical distance, which has come under the slogan "Do Gaj Ki Duri," as well as other protocols that are necessary. And we have seen gradually, unlock has happened in stages. You saw the first stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage. Now we are on to the fifth stage of unlock, that is unlock 5.0, in which many sectors of economy has been opened up. But an impression is gathering among people that, things are getting better, so there can be a lax approach towards either wearing of mask or following other protocols. I think that is what the Government of India wants to dispel, to say that the time has not yet come for us to dispense with any of these protocols. So therefore, today the government decided that should be a renewed public campaign, which will again go on, conveying the message that the situation continues to be serious, though the recovery rate is improving, and as well as in terms of fatality also, we are finding that number of cases falling victim is also going down. But nevertheless, there are spots or areas where there are still spurting cases, which means we cannot relax our guard. So this public campaign is essentially to convey that message that we have to be constantly be vigilant and there should be no relaxation. So we can see new wave of a publicity campaign to tell community, to tell people, men, women and children to constantly remember that mask is to take it as a kind of a permanent feature in our lives for some more time. And we cannot do away with not wearing masks, not ensuring that do gaj ki duri, at least keeping the physical distance, which is very, very important, because in some places, in some cities, somewhere along people are not taking this seriously as they earlier used to. So this is an important message of the today's decision.
The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs meeting was also there, and then the Cabinet discussed about the natural gas marketing reform. Mr. Pradhan, during the briefing, did mention about that the kind of clean energy that India is looking to harness to graduate to that level and also to increase the gas consumption. So these marketing reforms with vis-a-vis natural gas, Iyer Sahab, what are these decisions? How they affect the country as such, also the common man?
See, well, we have already seen e-bidding process that has come to mainstay in all the kind of allocation of resources, natural resources for exploitation. So today's reforms, which has been cleared by the government, is to further deepen and give a boost to economic activities, particularly the whole system of policies, relating to production, infrastructure and marketing, and in a transparent manner so that, there is an ease of doing business. And also they are to bring more emphasis to Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign by encouraging investment in domestic production of natural gas and reducing the import dependence. And the overall idea is eventually a lot of our economy should shift from fossil fuels to the gas-based economy. And that can only happen if we allow more investment to come in a very transparent manner. And when we are creating these reforms for more investment, that is essentially to create more employment opportunities in the gas consuming sectors, particularly among the MSMEs. So therefore, we have seen that today's Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has decided that there should be a standard procedure to discover the market price of gas to be sold by gas producers through a transparent and a competitive process. So this policy is, thrust of it is to see that there is no ambiguity. And, there is no confusion about the pricing mechanism, the pricing process, and who can do the rebidding. And so these were all clarified today. Because some amount of marketing freedom is sought to be given to these field development plans of various blocks, in which, we have already allowed for production sharing contracts. And we already have what is called the open acreage, licensing policy, which is again an investor-driven process. So, between 2010 and 2017, no blocks were allotted. But since 2017, more than 1.6 lakh square kilometer area under 105 exploration blocks have been allocated. So the whole idea is there should be sustainability of the domestic production in the long run.
You talked about the natural gas reforms. The government in a statement also did say that the present NDA government under the Prime Ministership of Mr. Modi has brought in a series of reforms in the gas sector, and as a result of that, investment of more than 70,000 crore has been made in the east coast of the country. The second important decision, for which a lot of details were given by the Union Railways Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, was about the Kolkata Metro. And we know that the metro network in major metropolitan cities like Delhi, Calcutta and others is very essential, because when we see the kind of volume of traffic, this rapid rail transport system does save a lot of fuel, does save a lot of energy, time, and also reduces a lot of carbon footprints that pollution can add to. So some more details about this, Mr. Iyer.
If you remember, it was only last Sunday the railway minister had inaugurated the Phulbagan station, of this Kolkata's east-west corridor. And this he had actually described it as a Durga Puja gift for the people of Kolkata. And he had also flagged off the first train from the new station to the Salt Lake Sector 5 station. And the whole idea is the entire stretch of this corridor is to be completed by 2021. Now, interestingly, Phulbagan is the first underground station to become operational on the east-west corridor. And the very interesting thing is they have built 2 underwater tunnels under the river Hooghly. And the whole idea is that today's cabinet decision actually revises the cost of the project, because the cost of the project has been now finally rounded off to 8,575 crore project. And this project will actually bring about better connectivity in Calcutta, and the entire route length of the project is 16.6 kilometers. There will be 12 stations. And as you mentioned, this is to ease traffic congestion, enhance the connectivity in Calcutta. And the fact that this is going to be completed by December 2021 is a good news for people of Kolkata. And this is a project which is being supported by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, which is providing, out of that 8,000 crore, they are providing almost 4,100 crore. And apart from that, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, they are providing about 1,100 crores. And Railway Ministry's own share is more than 3,000 crore. This is a kind of a mega project, because this is to connect the business district of Kolkata with the industrial city of Howrah in the west and Salt Lake City in the east. So that is the major idea of this. And with this, what will happen is 2 stations, the Howrah station as well as Sealdah station, will get connected to Salt Lake through this metro link. And in the process of execution of this project, which is what today the railway minister pointed out, that this is going to create 600 lakh man days, in terms of employment. And also, we are going to see Atmanirbharta campaign will see that almost 900 crores will be spent on getting the metro coaches, which will be built by the public sector BEML. So that is also a very important aspect of this project. And this is the first project that is seeing a transport tunnel, under a major river. And the Howrah station, which will be coming up, the Howrah station metro, this is the deepest metro station in India. So these are some important technological marvel associated with this project.
2 other very important decisions that the cabinet also decided granted approval was also about, the first one was about the cabinet approving the ratification of 7 persistent organic pollutants or hazardous chemicals that under the Stockholm Convention. And the government, through this mechanism, delegates its power for future ratifications for streaming the procedure. And one of the other important decisions was about the signing of memorandum of cooperation in the field of cybersecurity, cyberspace coordination between India and Japan. So these were the other decisions that the cabinet did decide and granted its approval. Thank you very much, Mr. Iyer, for talking.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on cabinet decisions. The participants were Shekhar Iyer, political analyst, and Neelab Srivastav, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our website, news@air.com. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.